Hey there, beautiful soul. Welcome to Unfiltered and Unashamed, the Ashley Reese podcast. I am your host, WBFF Pro, esthetician, nutrition coach, mama, and faith-fueled entrepreneur. I am glad you're here. This is your safe space to grow stronger in body, bolder in business, and deeper in faith. Whether we're talking about fitness, family, nutrition, skincare, mindset, or building a brand with kingdom purpose, nothing's off limits here. We keep it real, raw, and rooted in the truth because showing up for your calling means being unfiltered in your story and unashamed of your light. So grab your greens, your grind, and maybe your Bible because we're about to glow up from the inside out. Welcome, everybody, to today's episode of Unfiltered and Unashamed. Today, I'm honored to have Dr. Erin Griffin, the owner of Tidal Wellness here in Wilmington, North Carolina. Dr. Erin Griffin, she practices a blend of integrative family medicine, nutrition, and faith-centered approach to health. At Tidal Wellness, they provide services ranging from direct primary care and nutrition counseling to supplement management and body composition analysts. So what I especially love about her is that she is a caring for the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. Her support of whole food nutrition, including Juice Plus in her practice. Today we will talk about how faith, longevity intersect with practical wellness tools that you can apply right away, and how to steward your health as a gift from God. So Dr. Griffin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. So we're going to start with segment 1 of our foundation of faith and wellness. And, this platform, I just want to bring everybody to the audience in different fields so that I can put different people in front of you to change the messenger so that we can educate to empower. So one of our first questions we can start with is, can you share a little of your journey and how did your faith lead you to practice integrative medicine?
Starting from the beginning, I've wanted to be a physician my whole life. Be careful what you ask for because God might just give it to you. But I was practicing traditional medicine for a long time, which I do still value. Obviously, we do integrative medicine here. I integrate both approaches. I had a feeling that he wanted me to do more with my degree, my medical degree. I was led to the integrative medicine side of things. It was right after Hurricane Florence. I attended a peptide certification program, and that opened the doors for me to actually enter into an integrative medicine fellowship. I will say, as a doctor of osteopathic medicine, we do tend to have that baseline of treating the whole person. It was a nice transition into integrative medicine.
I'm very glad you clarified that because a lot of people don't know the difference between all the two. So how do you help patients view health as a stewardship, not just maintenance?
So it was interesting, this question, because I did prepare for this ahead of time. I really do think that there is a lot of maintenance involved. There's a lot of daily maintenance, consistency with our health and wellness. We have to do the right things on a regular basis to get the results that we want. That includes eating well, sleeping well, working out. Unfortunately, we can't just go to the gym one time and be a supermodel. I wish we could. We do have to actually maintain our bodies just like a car. So I do think that we need to be consistent. And that's one of the things that I like to stress to my patients is consistency delivers results.
I love that. And I love that you use the car analogy because it's one that people can relate to. It's like you don't run a car with no gas in it, right?
If you don't change your oil, it will break down on you.
Now, do you incorporate any spiritual encouragement, prayer, or biblical principles into your care at all?
I do. I obviously respect all faiths, beliefs. My patients I think that they would say, I am all about mind, body, and spirit. One of my favorite phrases is, we do not have an expiration date on us. So I never say never. I never give up on things. And I personally pray every day for my patients, for myself, my friends, my practice, and meditate multiple times a day. And it definitely does make a difference.
Yeah, you hit it on the head with the meditation and just taking that calmness in this fast-paced world. Now, When we talk about Tidal Wellness and the longevity vision, for the listeners that may not know you, can you explain what Tidal Wellness offers?
So, Tidal Wellness is a direct primary care model. It is a clinic where I practice full spectrum family medicine, ages 0 to 100, full women's health and wellness, men's health and wellness, children health and wellness. And we are a membership-based practice that allows us more time to spend with our patients. So, one of the things that I truly disliked about traditional medicine, fast-paced medicine, was I felt like I only got 10 minutes with my patients. I try my best here to have an hour with my patients if they're here in the office and 30 minutes if we're by phone. That was unheard of in my previous clinics that I worked at. With doing the full spectrum family medicine and integrative medicine, that allows me to do a lot of the nutritional assessments that you mentioned earlier, vitamin assessments, long COVID, Lyme, those things that you don't tend to see in the traditional clinics.
Yeah, that's awesome that you spend that time, because I mean, I feel like you're right. It's like the rat race out there. You're on this hamster wheel whenever you do go to see someone. So I love that you get to have that time to actually really listen. And I also want to bring
Right.
this attention to the listeners, because a lot of people want to say that doctors don't have time. It's all about who you know, and you want to go to someone that has good foundations of certain principles that they actually care to share and spend time with their patients, which I think builds the longevity for your practice.
Just having the time to listen and the time to do a good exam. I mean, if you're talking about mind, body, and spirit, you got to actually have the time to listen and examine them to get all of those foundations from that person that's sitting in front of you.
Right. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of noise in wellness. From your perspective, what truly moves the needle when it comes to longevity, kind of like nutrition, sleep, stress management?
So again, I have to go back to the consistency part. So definitely, obviously, stress management is probably, I think, the biggest thing I see, the most common thing I see, because it's easier said than done to reduce your stress, get good sleep. But that's a perfect example of how the mind can affect the body, because your stress hormone, cortisol, it increases when we do not sleep, when we're stressed. As we age, it's the only hormone that increases as we age, which, that's our luck, right? When we do not handle that and treat that, bad things can happen. So our blood pressure goes up, our blood sugar goes up, we gain weight, our mood changes, and that is just a vicious cycle. So we really do have this interconnection of the mind, body, spirit, and I like to actually get to the root cause of certain ailments. Consistency. So being consistent on those things, doing the daily meditation, doing the workout every day, taking your supplements every day. You can't just take them every now and then. We have to be consistent on our practices to get results, like I said earlier. I really do think that's the key to all of this.
Yeah, I would second that too. Now, what is your approach to helping patients filter out fads and stay rooted in evidence-based practices? Because I'm sure you hear everything. They're like, "Oh, I want to take this to lose."
I promise you, if there was a pill, like a magic pill, I would not have a job. Number one. Number two, I'd be taking it. I think having a good resource to go to. So with my certifications with the International Peptide Society and the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, having those resources to get good, knowledgeable articles and research studies, like that actual evidence-based medicine, does help. However, my patients have taught me so much. I learn from my patients every day. Anytime they come across an article or a study, I'm like, hey, send me that. I want to see that. I want to learn with them. So I think just being open to new things, new ideas, A, and B, knowing where that source is, where it's coming from.
Yeah, you hit some high markers on my book answering like that, because you are continuing your education always, which I'm just bringing up points that sets you apart from like another cookie cutter practice that's just like, okay, let me see people, here's a pill, buy, here's a pill, buy. Like, I do like and respect the fact that you are always continuing your education, always receptive to the new change. And hey, if we don't know something, like, you want to learn more about it so that you can give them an educated answer. I think
I have a lot of patients. I mean, I like to think that I practice proactive medicine and not reactive medicine. And so my patients, they do their research, and I love it when they bring me new information and they're like, hey, did you see this article about long COVID? Or did you see this article about Lyme or this new peptide? I love that. And I look into it for them. And again, it goes back to having that time to spend with them and actually look at what they bring what they bring to the table. So I think of us as a team, me and the patient, we're a team.
Yeah, I like that. And I will say about your practice, one of the things that caught my eye whenever I went in there is that it is like a community within the office. Like you, even the coworkers that you have working in there with you, y'all are all kind of work together. Like I remember going in there and you had this big tower garden with all the greens, and then you had these events that you would have that brought the people together, which I absolutely loved. I'm like, this is someone I can work with. Not every doctor is like that. It's kind of like they clock in, they clock out, but you have after hours events and parties so that you really get to know your patients on another level and bring in other people that you think they might be interested in to help them along in whatever path they're in, which I think was really cool about you. It kind of sets you apart in my book anyways.
Yes. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, practical tools, and I know you have all kinds of things that you offer to your patients, like supplements, nutrition, like Juice Plus, like things that support thyroid, like peptides. You mentioned all the different things, but how do you incorporate like whole food nutrition into your office, and why do you believe in it?
Yes. I mean, whole food nutrition honestly is the base to everything that we're building on. That's the foundation. And if you have a weak foundation, nothing that you do, like your workouts, you're going to struggle. You're going to be overstressed. Your adrenals are going to be overstressed. So all the money, because some of these things are not cheap. So the money, your time, your efforts, you really have to have that whole nutrition as your fundamental base for all these other things to actually work, for you to be able to build muscle and to have resiliency, even your immune system. Your cells need it to function.
Now, did you find that there was a certain nutrition product or anything that had like an easy, I know there's not a cure all, but one thing that you could recommend the people that you had found that kind of for the whole food part of the nutrition component?
I mean, honestly, like there's not my one product. I wish I could give one product. But I mean, you mentioned like having your good base with the Juice Plus, the fruits, veggies. I love that product. I love that they actually have it in a drink now. So I like being able to drink it, me. So I really like that. I think just having, for me, meal prepping before the week. That honestly is personally, as a busy person, my go-to. Like being able to grab something and go and know that it's healthy. That way you do not get busy and make poor choices.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because we have a lot of athletes that listen to this, and you're like ringing their ears because that's what we talk about. But it's also good for them to hear too from you about the different adrenals and cortisol. Because I know a lot of us are like we are trying to keep that as low as we can, and then we also have the moms and the other busy people that just don't even know that. So it's important that similar message but different vehicle of delivery and it's good to hear because I feel like a lot of doctors just want to pump medicine in people and follow a different protocol. So it's refreshing. And again, I want to share with our audience that she cares enough to find other ways. Like notice she's not recommending drugs or prescriptions or anything like that. She's really talking about like lifestyle and like how you can empower yourself that way. And I really do love that. How do
Yes.
you guide like women that feel overwhelmed with health, and what is one small simple like first step do you recommend?
That's a very good question because it is very easy to get overwhelmed, especially, oh my gosh, if you Google things and then you start to have things pop up on your phone and your iWatch and it's just all over the place. It's just like, we'll get this next newest thing. You need to go out and rush out and get that because, your neighbor down the street's already started it a week ago or something like that. I think the best thing to do is to actually sit down, have a provider who will listen to you, go through your goals. I like to get top 4, like what are your top 4 symptoms that you're experiencing? Like what is bothering you the most? And we go through it in a systematic way to approach it to treat those things. And I think just taking it step by step, we didn't get here overnight. We're not going to get back overnight type mentality.
That's totally understandable for 100%. So how do you guide patients to balance nutrition, supplementation, and lifestyle changes in a sustainable way? Because I know that a lot of people have either partaken in some of the shots and the Ozempics and the different things out there, and then they don't eat a lot. And then some people just swear on certain, like, I'm going to take this whole like cabinet full of supplements and then eat like fruit all day long or work out and then not eat. Like, how do you get that balance?
Yeah. Honestly, I think, again, finding a provider who will actually test your body and to know genetically what you need, nutrition wise, what you need, because there are a lot of vitamins out there that are absorbed based on a genetic nature. For example, B12. If you cannot absorb B12 by mouth, why are you going to be taking a lot of B12 by mouth? It's not really going to do you any good. That's just one basic example. But having that testing lets you know, what you actually need. And I think my patients would actually attest to this. I like to get the biggest bang with my buck. So I want to get the most out of one supplement that I can. So if there's a great supplement out there that has a lot of things in it that can accomplish multiple goals for a patient, then we're going to go for that. It's going to save us time, money. We're not going to have to take a lot of pills. Now, granted, do I take a good bit of supplements? Yes, but I know exactly what each one of those things is doing for me and why I'm taking it. And I think that actually helps with our consistency too, because if you know what it's doing for you and why you're taking it, you're going to be more likely to take it every day.
Going back to that car theory where you got to make sure your oil's changed, your tires are rotated, gas is in your car, like all to function as a well-oiled machine. Now, you brought up B12, and I'm just fact checking it since I do have you on the phone here. Isn't B12 made in the stomach? I heard if you're really stressed out, your B12s can be low because it's made in the stomach. And I don't know if cortisol maybe has a role in that too, maybe suppressing it. But if you're stressed out a lot, doesn't your B12 usually drop?
So your B12 is actually absorbed in the gut. And so you can actually have it's called intrinsic factor. So it's a genetic marker that we can actually test for. And if you're positive for that, you actually are not able to absorb B12 as well as someone who does not have that genetic trait. So then you want to do your weekly B12 injections, for example. You want to make sure you have active B12, so methylcobalamin versus cyanocobalamin. There's a difference. So the methylcobalamin is already activated for your body to use. Some patients also have a genetic trait where they cannot actually activate the B12. So they can absorb it by mouth, but they can't activate it. So then again, you want to make sure you're replacing with methylcobalamin, not cyanocobalamin. Those are things that we test for. And that's just one of the many, nutrients that we actually test for. It's funny that you say this because I'm looking at the NutriVal. This is an example, the Genova NutriVal. It tests for all the nutrients and all the cofactors that go into, so many things in our body. And to know those details makes a big difference with what you're going to take. Because again, I mentioned how these things are not cheap. These supplements that we spend all this money on, if we're going to spend all this money on it, don't we want to make sure that it's actually benefiting us?
Thank you for clarifying that. And also, another thought popped in when you were talking about foundation, and I know the big buzz is gut health. The prebiotic, the probiotic, having that good probiotic in your gut for a good foundation for the prebiotic to kind of come in and plant the seeds to have a good, healthy relationship. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it if say you don't have that good foundation, you can shoot good stuff in you all day long, but your gut, you might get some of it, but it's really going to go out. But if they can work together and really get that strong gut health, it kind of will start. It's like your second brain, they say, right?
The gut-brain axis. Exactly. There is a great test that we use, GI Effects, which it breaks down your actual microbiome. I can tell, your good bacteria from your bad bacteria. I can tell how you're digesting things, the inflammation in your gut, your prebiotic support, your probiotic support, overall infection. So looking for hidden parasites, bacteria, viruses, those sorts of things, because there's a lot that happens in your gut. You mentioned the gut brain. There's also gut influences with immune system, weight loss, even stress. The gut is very important.
Yeah, I'm so glad we got on that topic because I know a lot of our listeners are going to be wanting to know more about that. So we will be doing some more episodes on just different targeted.
That could be a whole podcast in itself, is gut health.
I love it. I love learning all that stuff. So I love picking your brain about different topics. Well, let's see. Just to kind of wrap things up, if there's some things that you would give listeners 2 to 3 actionable takeaways from their health today, what would it be?
Yes, this is another question that I kind of pondered on because it's so hard for 2 to 3. But again, I hate to go back to the consistency part. Getting a plan down that actually works for you, because if it's not going to work for you, then why are we going to do it? We need to see, hey, is this going to actually treat your ailment? Is this obviously going to help you feel better? B, are we going to actually do it? And C, we need to be consistent with it. So it's got to be something that we're going to be willing to do every day, and start off slow. Like, don't run a marathon day one, and don't expect to run a marathon day one. Put out realistic goals for you, 3 months, 6 months, a year. I like to do that with my patients, and each 6 months, I'm like, okay, well, now we can go to the next goal. And it just makes it more obtainable for you, more doable for you. And I think it gets us into the mental state to, again, be consistent with it. And then we're going to see the results.
That was excellent. Totally. I know people that might see like the new fad and they're like, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then they burn out and they crash and then they go right back to where they started.
Weight loss is the perfect example. Sometimes when we do these fads, then we actually gain back more weight than we lost the first time.
Yeah, we see that a lot. Now, like, say people want to connect with you to learn more, follow you on the Tidal Wellness website or social media. What you want to share what your handles are on that?
So we do have a Facebook page, Tidal Wellness. We're also on Instagram, and you can also go to our website, tidalwellness.com, if you're interested in joining or checking out our clinic. We do have walkthroughs where you actually can come in at any time, you schedule an appointment to check out our clinic, no obligations.
Now we will just say thank you, Dr. Erin, thank you for sharing your wisdom and your heart with us today, and really to help connect with our listeners. It's our first time connecting with you, and I know we're going to see a lot more of you and going through all the different things that you can share with us so we can, wisen and sharpen up our swords. We just want our listeners to walk away encouraged and equipped. And until next time, we just want everybody to keep shining and keep walking in faith and keep stewarding your life as a beautiful gift it is. And thank you again for your time and your efforts today. And this was just the first of many.
Thank you so much. Must say, I've been asked to do a lot of podcasts. I've never done it because it makes me very nervous. I love you, and I really do appreciate you for having me.
Okay, thank you. Well, we've now opened the door for it.
Yes. The next episode to be continued.
Ladies and gentlemen, till next time, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Unfiltered and Unashamed, the Ashley Reese podcast. If today spoke to your spirit, your hustle, or your healing, share it with a sister. Leave a review or tag me on Instagram at Ashley_SEA7. Remember, your story matters. Your glow up is holy, and the world needs more women who are rooted in truth, rising in power, and unashamed to shine. Until next time, stay strong, stay soulful, and keep walking in purpose.